sunscreen products alone will not fix your hyperpigmentation, face darkening, dark spots, the wrinkling, the early onset of aging that you are currently seeing. The secret to beautifully aging skin that is healthy, that is bright, that is even toned is to add a good sunscreen into your skincare routine. And that is why today we are all about sunscreen. I'm going to talk about the best, the worst, the ones that you've never even heard of before, and I'm also going to help you to choose the right one for you so that you can stop struggling with my face and my neck and my feet is darker than the rest of my body.
Oh, you're 51. Your skin is flawless. What is your skincare routine?
Sunscreen.
Anyways, without talking too much, we have a lot of things to get through. All the chapters are going to be here in case you decide to skip anyone, but I would advise you not to actually skip anyone. When you hear the word sunscreen, what really comes to your mind is, okay, SPF cream or sun protection formula. That is really where our work boils down to. Now, when you hear sunscreen, think of three types or two major broad categories. We have the chemical sunscreen and we have the mineral sunscreen. What these two have in common is that a good sunscreen should be able to actively, measurably protect your skin from ultraviolet aging rays and ultraviolet burning rays. If it is not doing all those three things that I've mentioned, then you're just using a moisturizer. Let's call it spade a spade. Okay? All right. Now, the major difference that comes to mind when you hear the word chemical and mineral sunscreen are the ingredients that are inside the product itself. It is the ingredients of a product that makes it the product. Hybrid is just in the middle. That is a little bit of properties from mineral sunscreen and a little bit of properties from chemical sunscreens. Now, most times what we have in the market right now are usually hybrid sunscreens because technology and cosmetology has advanced to the point where cosmetic chemists can now formulate sunscreens using a little bit of properties from both categories to form one simple hybrid sunscreen. Now, when you hear the term chemical sunscreen, there are three major ingredients or one out of the three that I'm going to mention because I have searched far and wide and I'm here to tell you that what makes a chemical sunscreen a chemical sunscreen is the presence of avobenzone, oxybenzone, and oxytonate. Octisonate. Now, when you hear the term mineral and chemical sunscreen, I remember now. These are the reasons why your sunscreen stings your eyes and why it might give you a very terrible blanket white cast. Usually, most mineral sunscreens contain zinc oxide, like I said earlier, or titanium dioxide, or a combination of the two. And what makes mineral sunscreens super good is because they are climate friendly, they don't cause any harmful issue to the environment, and it is also relatively safe for your skin. However, because we who are in this part of the world, I am African, if you're like me, you have a certain richness to your melanin that then allows a mineral sunscreen to give you a white cast. Usually a lot of white people can get away with using mineral sunscreens without having a white cast. One of the cons and disadvantages of most mineral sunscreens is the presence of white cast. So if you have a sunscreen and it is currently giving you a very terrible blanket white cast, just know that there are ingredients inside that sunscreen that is probably mineral in nature, and that is why you have that terrible white cast. Now, it stings my eyes just means that a huge concentration of a little bit of the properties of chemical sunscreens inside that particular sunscreen that you're using. And most times it is not inherently bad. It happens when you're not using the right one for your skin type. So take for example, oily person tries to use a chemical sunscreen that is quite greasy and that has oxybenzone inside it. I've tried it before and I suffered, I saw shaky. Okay, now that sunscreen, once you walk out in the sun, it starts to like oxidize and kind of like melt away on your face, and you start to sweat. With the sweating, with the wiping, with the cleaning, you will not know when it will get into your eyes and it will sting your eyes. I guess the rule of thumb and caution is that when you're buying a sunscreen, try to make sure that it is oxybenzone free or it is properly manufactured and properly formulated so that it is best suited for your skin type and that can also give your skin the total adequate protection that it needs.
Why are sunscreens so darn expensive? Like, why are they so expensive?
I'm here to clarify again for you in today's video that a very good sunscreen usually comes with a moderate, medium budget price tag. One thing you should know, when a sunscreen is too cheap, you can be sure that the ingredients inside it are also cheap, and you can also be sure that it might not give you the kind of protection that you want, especially if you're dealing with the complications that I mentioned earlier, which is that your face is darker, your neck is darker, your feet is darker, you're dealing with a lot of darkening and hyperpigmentation. You really want to save your money and buy something that is medium budget, that would actually work for you and that will help you to have a measured, active protection from both ultraviolet aging rays and ultraviolet burning rays. And really that is just it. Am I saying that cheap sunscreens don't work? They do. It's just that the chances of you buying a cheap sunscreen that is going to work in Nigeria's market is quite slim. Let me just call it what it is. It is quite slim. Now, you want a sunscreen that is cheap and that does not also give you a white cast. Can you not tell that you're already asking for too much? That is just it. So, as a rule of thumb for me, I would advise you to prepare for something that is medium budget, that you know that even if you want to save up for it, it's something you can buy consistently, but it is also appropriately priced in such a way that it contains all the ingredients that it needs to have, and it has a good factor rating in terms of 15, 30, 45, or even 25, that tells you how long that sunscreen is going to be able to actively, measurably protect your skin from harmful sun exposure. Let's talk about reapplication and how it affects skin darkening and how it helps you to maintain a bright skin. So I've grouped this particular segment into two categories. I have called it reapplication tips for my skin is darker, and reapplication tips for I want to maintain a bright, even skin tone. Those are two different needs. I hope you know that. Somebody that is already here needs to pay extra caution compared to somebody that is just right here. Now, reapplication, when it comes to sunscreen, can come in the form of maybe 1 or 2 or 3 major categories. When I say you need to reapply sunscreen, I mean when you're stepping out in the day, before 10 a.m. sunlight rears its beautiful radiant head, when the UV index starts to climb up before 10 a.m., you need to have made sure that you have applied your sunscreen on your skin in your morning skincare routine. That is what I'm trying to say. Now, anything after 10 a.m. is called reapplication. All right? All right, now let me now start focusing on the tips and tricks that I have for those two categories that I've mentioned earlier. If you really want to get rid of darker skin, and if you really want to get rid of those areas of your body that is darker than usual, you need to make sure that you're reapplying your sunscreen every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. So tip number 1, my skin is darker. Make sure that you apply your sunscreen before 10 a.m. sunlight. Tip number 2, under my skin is darker. Make sure that if you're still outside by 12 noon, you reapply sunscreen again. Tip number 3, if you're still outside by 3 p.m., make sure you reapply sunscreen again. Tip number 4, if you're still outside at 5 p.m., make sure you reapply sunscreen again. That is because most sunscreens usually come in a certain factor that does not give total long-lasting protection for a regular working day. A regular working day typically starts from your 9 a.m. to your 5 p.m. and that is why I have grouped all those tips into that time for you. Now, when it comes to I want to maintain my bright skin, I want to maintain my fair skin, you are under my category, and this is what I do. Once it's 10 a.m. before the sun rears its beautiful head, I make sure that I apply my sunscreen, the 2-finger rule, and of course 2-finger rule only with SPF 50. We are still going to get into that. I will explain those factors for you in case you're currently confused. Now, tip number 2, if you're still outside between the hours of 12 to 3, please, my dear sister, reapply sunscreen on your face and on your neck and on your hands, especially on exposed body parts. On the other side, if your skin is darker, make sure that the areas where your skin is darker is where you're protecting the most. However, if your skin is already bright, you just want to make sure that you're taking extra precautionary measures to ensure that your pigmentation is not getting darker than usual. That is just it. However, if you're the kind of person that you tend to work from home and you're not going outside as often as possible, then 10 a.m. use your sunscreen and you can call it a day. And really, this is what has been working for me. If I'm going to the market around 2 p.m. when the UV index of a place like Lagos, Nigeria is at its highest, you have something on your phone called the weather widget on your phone right here called the weather widget. Now, when you check your weather widget, you can see something called UV index there. In some certain parts of the world, the sun is not so pronounced and the sun is not so harsh. But if you stay in a climate that is tropical like Nigeria, you need to make sure that you're constantly reapplying your sunscreen, especially if you want to protect the pigmentation and the natural melanin that your skin is secreting and producing. When it comes to the factors and the numbers that you see on your sunscreen, that is the manufacturer just trying to tell you that, you know what, if I say my sunscreen only protects your skin by up to SPF 15, that means after 150 minutes, your skin is going to start to receive the reaction that comes from harmful sun exposure. If it is SPF 30, that's 300 minutes, and if it is SPF 50, that is after 500 minutes. Now, somebody is going to say, oh, 500 minutes equals to 4 hours. Yeah, that means I should actually be reapplying my sunscreen after 4 hours. And you're like, why are you saying we should do it after 2 hours? That is because some things are not just accurately measured. It is better to be safe than sorry. That means if you're outside when the UV index is worse than a normal day and you are waiting for 4 hours to reapply your sunscreen, you have already started getting that darkening and that aging effect that the sun is going to give your skin. All right, and that concludes everything that I want to talk about under reapplication, skin darkening, and of course skin brightening. The next thing that is so important to talk about, of course, that you guys have been waiting for, is my top shelf recommendations that I've tried and tested, that I've also researched, and that I think is really going to work for you. Under here, I'm also going to talk about the various variants that sunscreens tend to come in. Number one, you have your SPF cream, which is a thick creamy-like consistency that you apply, like I showed you guys earlier, on your skin. Number two, you have the essence. Essence is like a watery gel-like consistency that has a little bit of water to it, and that makes it compatible more for people who have oily, acne-prone skin. Number three, you have the sunscreen spray. This one is the one that you can apply on top of your makeup. You don't have to wash your face or wash your makeup off. You don't also have to use your sun stick, otherwise it will remove your makeup. You can just get a sun spray all over your skin and you will actually be able to reapply it during the day. Number four, sun stick, and this one is your roll-on deodorant kind of sunscreen that glides easily on your face. This one works especially for reapplication when you're outside and you don't have makeup on. First one on the list is the number one Clear Filter Sun Essence with up to SPF 50. Comes in 50 ml in terms of quantity, retails for 20,000 naira. This is Jumia price. This is not me. This is Jumia price. Is, I would say, a chemical as well as a hybrid sunscreen. This sunscreen does not contain anything that will sting your eyes. It does not contain oxybenzone or avobenzone. It is also fragrance free. I would say particularly that you need to be careful if your skin is very oily when it comes to this sunscreen, because if you're the kind of person that you don't like that dewiness, that shine, that compelling, attractive shine to your skin, then this sunscreen is not going to be for you. However, if your skin is normal, dry combination, just like me, you are really going to like this sunscreen. This sunscreen absorbs easily into the skin, does not have any fragrance that can throw your skin off the charts. I love the formulation. I love how well it glides on my skin by the time I start to apply it, and this is actually my own favorite out of all the. Number two is the Eccentric Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel with SPF 50 and also comes in 50 ml, retails for 25,000 naira. Are you guys joking? Yeah. It is a chemical sunscreen with no white cast. Absolutely beautiful on the screen. Absolutely beautiful on the skin. Would not give you that white cast that you can get from the other sunscreens. Okay, the hyaluronic acid inside this sunscreen particularly makes it the best when it comes to normal and dry skin. That also means that if your skin is oily, this is not the sunscreen for you, because you are going to receive the shine and the grease and the dewiness is going to come with the application of this sunscreen. Then you also need to know that this sunscreen, because it is SPF 50, will protect your skin for up to 4 hours, has no fragrance to it, applies easily on the skin, absorbs easily on the skin. You would really love the texture that this sunscreen gives your skin. The next one is the Bayer UV Aqua Rich Watery Sunscreen that retails for 11,519 naira. This is actually my sister's sunscreen, and I am mentioning it because she's acne prone. Her skin type is acne prone, and she loves this sunscreen. You guys need to see us when we are always trying to cope the internet to try to help her to purchase this sunscreen whenever it is sold out. Everybody that is acne prone tends to gravitate towards this sunscreen, and that is because it applies easily on the skin and does not give your skin a lot of shine. Remember, if your skin is oily, acne prone, you don't want more dewiness, you don't want more grease. Your skin already has enough grease. You want to do something that is not adding more grease. So this sunscreen has a little bit of fragrance, just a slight fragrance to it. It is absolutely beautiful on the skin. It is chemical. It is chemical, will give you no white cast. It won't sting your eyes. It is absolutely nourishing. The last one that I have for you guys today is the Beauty of Jason Sun Relief Rice Milk Plus Probiotics with SPF 50. Also comes in 50 ml, retails for 14,500 naira. This is everybody's favorite sunscreen on TikTok. You got that right. This is everybody's favorite sunscreen on TikTok, and for a good reason, because it also has organic natural components inside it that protects the protein layer of your skin, thereby allowing your skin to also remain nourished, elastic, youthful, protects the collagen and also the protein synthesis of your skin. So if you're kind of looking for something that is a little bit anti-aging in a sunscreen, try the Beauty of Jason one. This one is really good. It is also a chemical sunscreen, will protect your skin for up to 4 hours, has no fragrance to it, absorbs easily, does not leave excessive shine. I would say it leaves a little bit of blanket shine to it, just a blanket shine, nothing too much, just a blanket shine to it. Has no fragrance. You would really like this particular sunscreen. The other ones that I'm not going to go into today that I see a lot of people using and that I think is also good is the Cosrx Sun Aloe one, the Jose Sun Cut UV Perfect Gel, the Misha one, and of course the Black Girl sunscreen. These other ones, people tend to gravitate towards it and they really like it. Anyways guys, we have come to the end of today's tutorial when it comes to all about sunscreens. I try to cover as many things as I can cover that I've seen that you guys tend to always ask me about in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed today's video, do not forget to give me a huge thumbs up. Make sure you share this video with your friend, because they're still going to go out there and buy a sunscreen that will sting their eyes and that will give them a white cast. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you sooner rather than later. Bye.